Hello everyone and welcome back. Today is going to be a pattern video. Now I asked in my room tour video if anybody wanted to see like what my go-to patterns were, and one of you, I believe, said yes. So I'm gonna take that as the go-ahead. Here's a video that like nobody wanted. So I have a lot of go-to patterns when I make my outfits. I tend to just make mock-ups and then use those mock-ups as future patterns, and I trace them down on packaging paper because I'm cheap, and I save those and I use those for later patterns. But there are good commercial patterns out there, and I use commercial patterns often as a starting point. If you can actually follow the directions and do them properly, I commend you. I cannot. I normally just cut out the pattern pieces, lay them out on my fabric, and cut them out, and then just kind of fit them together however they fit. So I'm terrible at directions. Even following like hey cut sew directions is really difficult for me. I don't quite understand them. So I'm just bad at direction. Without further ado, these are kind of my favorite ones to use right here. My absolute favorite one is this quick sew pattern. It is a quick sew 3428. It's just this simple jacket pattern. It's really easy to make. I've used this jacket pattern for so many different costumes. The first time I got it for my Merlin costume. I made his little outer jacket with that. I used it for two of my Rei Sakuma costumes, both the Rock Fest and just the general undead jacket. I used this for. I used this last year on Laura. Her little bolero is actually made out of this pattern. I just cut it shorter. Same thing with the undead jacket. So I come back to this pattern a lot. I also really like the sleeve pattern in this, so I will often take the sleeve pattern from this one and actually like attach it to other patterns and Frankenstein it together. The nice thing about this pattern is that it's like actual paper and not like tissue paper like the McCalls patterns and the Simplicity patterns are. So it has like a lot of reusability and it doesn't tear super duper easily. So, but this is a go-to pattern of mine. This is probably my favorite pattern that I own. Even if I, you know, have that mock-up pattern, I still go and I grab this and I just use this straight out of the package pretty much. I don't know how completely accurate it is because again, I don't really read the instructions. However, I do really like this pattern and it's probably my top recommendation if you're ever going to make something with jackets. This one, super easy. It has like 4 pieces. It's so easy. So another pattern that I use frequently is this one right here. It's McCalls 6838. I actually don't use it for the dress part. I use it for this little bodice here. I've used this bodice a lot. I originally bought this pattern specifically for this dress right here, the high-low part, for Applewhite's Legacy Day outfit, but I never got around to making that. It's still on my to-do list, but it's like a very low priority right now. But I use this pattern a lot. The most recent use of it, I used it in Creamy Mommy. I just elongated that pattern a little bit and tried to get it over my hips a little bit. That way I could match her outfit better, because her outfit's actually like a one-piece like leotard with a skirt over it, and I wasn't about that life. I used it last year for Laura. I used this as her little bodice. That took a lot of work because there was a lot of pieces involved. I've used this for Human Luna and I've used it for Doll. So I go to this bodice pattern a lot for dresses. It's a really nice pattern. It's super easy. It fits really well. I always have to adjust the pattern anyway because I have a very large bust. I know I don't look it, but I do. It's very frustrating. But I use this pattern a lot again for different dresses and outfits, and I'll probably come back to it once again. If you're looking at making like an idol outfit that's strapless, or even if it does have straps, because there's the top part, but if you have like a sheer top or a top that's a different color, you can definitely use this pattern. I really recommend it. So this pattern is a PJ's pattern. It's another McCalls pattern. It's number 6251, and I've used this pattern both the pants pattern and the jumpsuit. Now, I've only used the jumpsuit pattern once. That's what I originally bought it for. I bought it for my old Matryoshka Gumi outfit that I don't believe I have pictures of that I'm willing to share because my makeup is terrible, but we won't go there. I was like young. But I use this pants pattern a lot, surprisingly. I hate making pants, so anytime that I can get out of making pants, I will. But when I do have to make pants, I come to this pattern. So it is a PJ's pattern, so it is made with an elasticated waistband, but I usually end up trying to make pants properly out of it, just because the PJ pattern actually allows extra room because of that elasticated waistband, because PJ pants are supposed to be kind of loose fitting and comfy. So I've made Summer Camp Ray. I turned these into capri pants and like added a bunch of extra width at the knee to make them baggier and kind of puffy. And I've used this to make Midori's painter's outfit. I've also used it to make Midori's ninja outfit. And surprisingly, thanks to this pattern and a lot of trial and error, I made Tanabata Kato, and I don't believe I have like any good pictures of that. So I will try my best to find a picture and insert it. But I've done a lot of OnStars with this pants pattern because they're boys and they wear pants. But yeah, so this pants pattern is pretty good. Again, it's an elasticated waistband, so if you want easy pants, this is probably the best way to go. But if you want something more professionally made, they're loose enough where you can actually like try to get in everything and give it a functioning zipper and all that, because my Ray summer camp pants actually do have a functioning zipper in the front. I am very proud of those pants, but they are very comfy. I do recommend this pattern, and it is easy, surprisingly so, because pants are a nightmare. So next up on my list, I have these two patterns. They kind of accomplish the same goal. This one is McCall's Costumes in number 4948, and this is Simplicity's 3723. They kind of, again, they look similar. They kind of accomplish the same goal. I used to use both bodice patterns a lot, but I've moved away from these patterns for the most part. At this point, the only pattern that I really use, I use this one, and I use it for the puff sleeve. I just always seem to come back to this puff sleeve. I use this puff sleeve for Kir Chocolat. Her sleeves, I just made them extra big. But I've made so many costumes out of these two patterns when I was just figuring stuff out. These are they're probably, if you follow the instructions, they're probably kind of complicated. I don't imagine that they're super duper easy to follow, but I am a trial and error type of person where I will just put pieces together and hope for the best. So that's kind of how I figured things out on my own. I also come back and I use this, I use this cuff pattern a lot. So these two are, again, they kind of accomplish the same thing, but I've used them a lot. I don't have any like super recent pictures besides Kir Chocolat with that one because I'm embarrassed by my past self. But yeah, if you're just starting out and you want to make like an Alice in Wonderland dress, or you're trying to make some longer dresses with like, that has that's gathered, because these are rectangle skirts, which is different than what I normally make at this point. I tend to prefer circle skirts. They're just easier and I can pattern them on my own, and they don't take up a ton of fabric, unlike rectangle skirts. To get that gather, you're gonna need like so many yards of fabric, and I just don't have that money. And while this pattern isn't one of my favorites and I don't come to it very often, this is Berta's Style in number 6901. I have used this a few times. I used this for Utana originally. I bought this for Utana just because she has kind of a longer gakuran top, the male school uniform, and I decided I was going to use the peplum top. But then I also used the same thing for Cure Chocolat, and going with the same idea, I use this pattern. Cure Chocolat has a lot of things that are Frankenstein together, so, but this one is one that I don't really recommend, but if you really want to, you can use it. I kind of have another pattern at this point that kind of accomplishes the same goal. I just bought it for a different costume. This one was originally, again, bought for Utana, and it worked, but it didn't do the greatest job. So, but I have used this, and I do kind of come back to it on occasion. Alternatively, you can use this pattern. It's McCalls 7291. I bought this for Eevee specifically because it has these little flowy sleeves, and I was doing Descendants 1 Eevee. But like that, you could basically use this and accomplish the same thing as that. Just this is going to be a looser fit because it's more casual, while this is much more professional, I guess. I mean, it looks professional, but I don't want to like use the word professional like, oh, this is only for like the work office area. But these are just two, they kind of accomplish the same thing, and at this point, if I was to use any of the longer patterns, I'd probably use this one. Those are my patterns. I tend to use these a lot. These are the ones that I kind of go to often. I have a lot of patterns that I just collect because when Hancock was still around, they would have sales and their patterns would be $1, and I would buy like 5 of them because I just wanted extra patterns just in case. Like I have Frozen patterns that I don't think I'm going to use because I don't think I'm going to cosplay Anna or Elsa. But these patterns are my go-to ones. I use these often. I didn't realize how often I actually use McCall patterns. I really didn't think I liked McCalls that much. I really thought that I was more of a simplicity person, but this is showing me the light, apparently. But yeah. So with that, I will see you guys next time. Bye!